Storytelling. So, to many, storytelling can either be something that happened, something that never happened, something that they were told. To me, storytelling is a slice of life, a bit of someone else's experience, something that I maybe didn't experience and I've got to experience through listening to a story. Stories are never right or wrong or lies or truths. They're just stories, you know? And if, as far back as I can remember, I've enjoyed listening to stories, I've enjoyed telling stories. I remember the last story, my grandfather used to tell me a lot of stories when I was growing up. He for at least 4 years, every single night he would either tell me a story through verbal, talk, or he would sing a song and then tell me the essence of the song, something like that. I remember the last story that he ever told me was the story of the girl in the mortuary. So there was this girl who lived with her mother, and they were just the two of them. They didn't have any other relatives. They weren't rich. They were just, I wouldn't say middle class because they didn't really afford a lot of stuff. The woman would sell groceries to take her kid to school. So I would say they were well off enough to be able to survive. So when the girl was, I think, when the girl was 16, her mother contracted terminal illness. And they went everywhere. They went to different doctors. They even went to witches and wizards to try and, help her mother from the terminal illness. But life isn't always the way you plan it to be. It's fate and you just follow through. So unfortunately, the mother succumbed to the disease and she passed away. But the kid was so attached, the girl was so attached to her mother that she couldn't stay at home when her mother was in the morgue by herself. So she went to the hospital and she told the doctors, I think that I want to stay next to my mom until we can take her home for the burial. And the doctors were like, of course not. It's like, no, that is a mortuary, that's a morgue. Only dead bodies are allowed to be inside there. Why would a living being want to be inside the mortuary? And the girl insisted that I cannot leave my mom by herself. I need to go inside and sit by her and wish her, so that she won't be lonely in the last days of her life. Obviously, it's the girl who was lonely, going at home by herself, staying in the house, just listening to the silence, waiting for her mom's body to come from the hospital. She didn't want to experience that. So she went to the hospital and she stuck on the door. She was not leaving until they allowed her to be in the mortuary. The watchman of the mortuary tried to tell her, like, this is a place where dead bodies are. There's no living being here. Like, why would you want to stay here? I understand your feelings. I understand the love that you have for your mother. But I would advise you to just go home and then come back tomorrow during the day, then be with your mom, go with her home. But she refused. Obviously, they would never have allowed her to be inside that mortuary. So they told her, no, it's not going to happen. But the girl was smart and she found a way to sneak into the mortuary. And she hid herself under the other bodies until the mortuary was closed for the night. So it was 10 p.m. She's listened and she knows the watchman has already done his checks. No one is around. That's when she got under where she had hidden. And the bed right beside her mom was empty, and that's where she went. She slept on top of this steel bed beside her mom. I would never. And then she covered herself up with a white sheet. Now, it's the mortuary, it's at night. The only sound that is being heard is owls howling outside. Do owls howl? What do owls do anyways? Crickets chirping outside. It was just silent with sound from the night. That was the only thing that was there. And she listened to the sound and she just calmed down. she, of course, she was scared. Like, she's in a room full of dead bodies, but she kept telling herself, well, they're all dead, nothing would happen to me. But when it was exactly 11:59 p.m., everything went silent. Everything went silent. The owls that were howling outside were quiet. The crickets that were chirping outside, shh, silent. Like, it was silent. If it was me, I would be screaming at that point, because I'm in a mortuary with dead bodies, and now the sound of the night is not even there. It's like literally dead silence. And obviously, in dead silence, every sound that comes up frightens you, right? So she heard footsteps. They were coming from afar, like